Hi, I'm Patrick. This is Cory, Lloyd, and Andrew. Together, we just got played. We're at the Cloak and Blaster once again, late into the evening. We just got done playing Villainous. Join us for Disney's Villainous. Lloyd. Sorry, I got your name wrong in the intro. Lloyd.
Yes, Lloyd. Correct it, sir.
Sorry, I did. Yes. Why don't you tell us a little bit about Disney Villainous?
Disney Villainous. Okay. In Disney Villainous, you are playing one of 6 characters, villains specifically, and the central focus of the game is you have a realm specific to your story, and you are basically doing action selection by moving your mover to different places on the board, which give you up to 8 different actions that you can perform. Playing cards, moving heroes, collecting resources. The game involves 2 different decks. One is a deck of your powers and allies, and the other deck is the heroes who are trying to stop you. There's some light interaction between each players doing the fate action, which allows you to play the heroes against the other villains, and the game is won depending on one of 6 different objectives based on which character you're playing. I think that's pretty much.
You accumulate power during the course of the game, and that hero deck is something that's specifically for each character. So that deck that you mentioned has heroes that would be specific to my character, which was Maleficent. Cory, if you had to pick something that you like the most about Disney Villainous.
The thing that I like the most about Disney's Villainous is it's very thematic. With this one, you know, when you're playing as, I keep wanting to say King James, Prince John, when you're playing as Prince John, you are taxing, you're trying to get money or power, which is your currency. With the Queen of Hearts, you're trying to turn your dudes into wicked, right? And you know, make hit your
croquet shot.
Croquet shot. Oh my goodness, your croquet shot, and you're trying to nail it. It's very thematic with how the cards work in the game, and they did a great job with that.
Well, Lloyd, pick something you like the most, because there's a lot of stuff to like.
There is. What I think I like the most is there are 6 different characters in the game, and they're kind of tiered in terms of difficulty. So some of the characters are much easier to play, their decks are a little more straightforward, and some of the characters are a little bit more difficult to play, and their decks are a little bit more complex. And I think that allows for a more gamer type with more experience to also play with someone who doesn't play such heavy games and feel competitive without having the more nuanced player to hold back. They just play a more complex character to give them more challenge versus the easier characters. I think that variable difficulty built right into each character makes it something you can play with different levels of player all in one game.
That is pretty darn cool, the way they do it. I don't think I've ever seen that before in any kind of game. Andrew, if you had to pick something you like the most.
So, it being a Disney theme, they could have went and done simple mechanisms that weren't fun, and they did a lot of really cool, interesting things. And so the action selection, when heroes go into your realm, they can actually kind of block certain actions. So when you play the fate action on another player, you can decide where you want to put it, and it'll eliminate some of their actions. So you can decide what you don't want them to do. Maybe you don't want them to fate you, so you can get rid of that action. And so I thought that was super cool.
Again, really cool on the graphic art right on the card. Immediately you know that's what it does, and you immediately know when you get something played on you that it blocks those out. All of it's very, very intuitive, very cool. And if there's one thing that I picked that I like the most about it is something that I would normally steal from Lloyd, which is variable player power, but this one's actually variable player goals. So each one of these characters, this does tie into what you said, each one of these characters has a different set of goals that you're trying to accomplish, and everyone's got to know what everybody else's goals are, because you have to try to block them from doing that particular goal while still succeeding with yours. So I think that is really, really neat. I really like the variable player goals in many games, but in this one it really ties in nicely. Cory, if you had to pick something you like the least, what would it be though?
I'm nitpicking, but I like to sleeve my games. If you go and you sleeve this game, it does take standard sleeves, but you're gonna have trouble getting it in that box. You know, I had to really figure a way to fit it in there.
Yeah, it was
And
tight.
It
You
was
couldn't
very
get-
tight.
once
It was tough.
Once you got the sleeve on, it was
I have
not
to put it in the same way every time in
Yeah.
order for it to work.
I can
So-
see that as a problem for sure.
You gotta get it in the right way so that it doesn't mess with anything, right?
Right.
That's right. I don't even know if game trades can fix this issue, but
I don't either.
They need like a big geeky box, like Villainous. Like
We need to call
like
Robert
Smasher
Searing and
has.
see if he can fix it. Says, Lloyd, what did you think you like the least about it?
So I played this game 2, 4, and 6. In the 6-player game, 5 and 6-player game, they give you a little token that basically allows you to not be targeted by the fate action twice in a row.
Twice in a row.
In the 4 or less, it's basically pile on the leader. Whoever's about to win, everyone just keeps hitting their fate deck until they find something that'll stop them. And I like that in the 5 and 6-player, that can't happen. You would have won 3 turns earlier had you not been targeted 3 turns in a row. So I think not having that fate blocking action in the lower player games maybe hurts a little bit and kind of draws it out.
I agree. That's one of Brian Fiore's not with us tonight, but that's one of those things Brian hates is healing. Like the fact that I got hurt and then I healed back and I was getting close again and I got hurt again. I get healed back, got close again. So it's got seesawing effect. You mentioned like the Munchkin effect. There's a pile on. So that's probably something that I definitely agree with you about. I can't think of many things or anything at all I dislike except for maybe that last bit of I wish the game was a little bit faster and that seesawing effect was not quite as profound. But this is Villainous. We are Just Got Played. We're at the Cloak and Blaster once again, late until the evening. Thank you very much for watching. Just Got Played. You're a bad man, Cory. Actually, Lloyd won. You won, right? Captain Hook?
I did, yes.
I came
Captain Hook
close.
won.
You were a fantastic hooker.
I was.
I
was hooking everything.
You did. I don't even know.
Even there was even a John.